Good morning, folks. It is a beautiful day today. The sun is shining, the snow is melting. A lot of bare ground starting to show up. Now this hillside over here, it's really coming off fast. Last couple of days have been close to 40, if not 40. A couple of days ago, I think was I don't remember what we had, 53, I think. But I've had a little bit of comments and things, talking with people about trapping in the snow with weather like this. Our snow went from being a soft, fluffy powder to having a crust on it. It's got, you can dig underneath that pretty good, and it's still fluffy underneath. But what happens when you're trapping in this kind of weather is it's warm enough that the heat of the sun will cause your traps to melt just a little bit, cause the snow around your traps to melt just a little bit, and then come nightfall again, it freezes. And it's a problem because then your traps are frozen down and they don't spring. And a lot of guys, Montana Wolf Trapper and some others, are using waxed dirt directly in the snow, and I've never had any luck with that. I tried it, and what ends up happening is that dirt will heat with the sun and it melts out, kind of exposes the dirt, which isn't a bad thing, but it looks funny. I mean, you got one little patch of bare ground there where everything else is snow. And while it does not seem to really make a difference, I think sometimes it might. So anyway, here's a couple of the things that I've come up with over the years, and I've found they work pretty well. I have not yet caught a wolf doing this, but I've caught coyotes and fox, so I know it works, and a bobcat too. So it does work, it's just the wolves haven't found my traps yet. A lot of dirt showing up now. This video is probably a little past the time I should have done it. But, there's no real one way that's right or wrong. Like I said, Montana Wolf Trapper, he uses waxed dirt directly in the sand, or in the snow. And it seems to work for him. I tried it and it didn't really work the way I was doing it, but I'm probably just doing something wrong. A lot of people use waxed paper, which does the same thing as this, what I'm about to show you, but I didn't have good luck with that either. The waxed paper tends to either freeze down or it'll stick to the jaws of my traps sometimes, and if I get more than a couple inches of snow on it, it wads up. And I mean, a couple of times I had sprung traps and it looked like I caught a doggone baby diaper in the disposable baby diaper in the trap. It's just a big wad of paper with a bunch of snow stuck in the middle of it, and I didn't like that. I didn't have good luck with that at all. The glare out here today is terrible. It's really hard to see the screen here. I hope I'm getting this. But I have found that these styrofoam pie plates are just about perfect size for an MB750 trap. So what I've been doing is I cut a hole with a slit in it for the trap chain to go up through here like this, and I set the trap onto that. This styrofoam, it's styrofoam, the same as they make ice coolers and things with, so it insulates, but it's slick. So if the snow does melt and the water gets in here and freezes, it's not going to stick to this. It should snap regardless. And then the other one, I take another pie plate, show you here in a second, and I put that over the top of it. But these are, even though they're fairly fragile, they're stiff enough that I don't want to risk anything blocking the jaws from coming up in the snow and slowing the trap down. So this inside edge of the pipe plate, I've just been cutting that out. The knife could stand to be a little sharper. These plates are thin, they're flimsy, they crack real easy. It won't slow the jaws down much on these traps. This will go right over the top as a pan cover. And then I put this ring over the top of that, and that just sort of seals down around this edge so that the snow doesn't collect here and freeze onto that. So it's kind of a hokey way of doing it, but it works. And then just bed it directly into the snow. That's kind of a rough idea, but you get the idea of what it would do. It's protected top and bottom with the styrofoam, completely encased in there, and the top snow will get a little bit of a crust on it, but because the styrofoam is white, you really don't need a lot of covering on it. If the stuff melts off, oops, which it will, the styrofoam doesn't show. It still looks like snow. See, that's it right there. You can't even, I mean, in the dark, if you were trotting down a trail, you're probably not going to notice that. And it does, I mean, it's not perfect by any means, but it does the job. It does work. Then, kind of along the same lines, I found this stuff here. This is a packing material. It's kind of a stretchy foam type of stuff. I don't know what you'd really call it. I mean, it wads up easy, bounces right back. And what it's used for is real thin. I bet that's not even a 1/16 of an inch. What it's used for is they wrap things like refrigerators in it when they're shipping. And I asked at the store in town here if they'd save me some, and I got a whole bunch of it for nothing. And this stuff I'm really impressed with. It works really well. I've been doing the same thing with it. I've been cutting a hole in the center. Boy, I need to sharpen that knife. You can tell I haven't been catching much here lately. Been cutting a hole there in the center for the trap chain, and then one out to the edge to go around the trap chain. And then I just bed this the same as they do the pipe plate, just right directly into the snow, just like that. And it kind of does the same thing because it's a kind of a styrofoam type of material. It doesn't freeze down to it. And then I got some others that are cut to the shape of the pan, and I've just been putting that over that, just like that. That doesn't protect the springs as well as the pipe plate does, but so far it seems to be working pretty well. Again, I haven't caught a wolf using it, but I've caught other things, and the wolves just haven't come around. I haven't found them yet. And this stuff, I mean, I don't like a big chunk that comes out across. A lot of people I've seen put wax paper, I mean, way over the jaws, and I mean, clear out to the springs and stuff. What that does is that when the trap springs, it has to pull up through underneath the snow like that, and sometimes it'll freeze down and it makes your jaws close slow, or they don't snap at all, or worse, when that snaps, it folds up like that and there's a big old wad of snow in there, and like I say, it looks like he caught a Huggies. And that's no good. I think some of the ones I've had go off, I really think that there was enough snow built up on there after a good snowfall. I had probably 2-3 inches on there. I think there's enough snow it would have pushed the animal's foot out of the trap. So anyway, these are just some of the ideas that I've come up with. Like I say, they do seem to work. It's not perfect by any means. But when you're trapping in the snow, I don't think there is a perfect way to doing it. It's all trial and error. I've seen pictures of guys in Alaska that they'll make a little, like a raft out of twigs and set your trap on top of the twigs. I've seen people use like 2-inch foam insulation sheeting, styrofoam insulation sheeting, and they cut out a section right in the foam that's shaped like the trap, and they use that. I've never tried that. I think it would work just fine, but it's bulky. Chunk of plywood underneath there, that would work. Really anything that you can use to keep it from freezing down. But the other thing that I like about this stuff, like I say, this stuff and the pipe plates, is that they're white and they don't collect the heat from the sun quite as easy. They don't melt out quite as easy as something dark would. Like I say, the wax dirt right in the snow, I didn't have luck with that because it just melted out on me. These traps, this was an experiment. I don't really like it. I tried painting these white, and as you can see, the paint is coming off and it's starting to rust and whatever. I don't know. I painted them white to hide them in the snow, but also hoping that it would help keep them from melting out in the sun as much. It doesn't seem to matter. The dark ones, they don't really matter any more than this one does. So anyway, just kind of my thoughts on this. If you got better ideas, I'd love to hear them. As trappers, the more we can share with each other, the better off we are. So anyway, there's no right or wrong way of doing this. What works for me might not work for you, and if you got better ideas, like I said, I'd love to hear them. you can't never have bad points with this. You can always throw those out and go from there. This year the trapping season's been kind of tough in a lot of ways in a lot of places, and it's been kind of a struggle. The weather conditions have been bad and things have been against us this year. If you haven't seen it, Montana Wolf Trapper has a channel here on YouTube, and he is one of the top wolf trappers in the country right now. You can learn a lot from this guy. This whole upper row of animals there are mainly wolves. So check him out if you haven't already. I'm sure most of you have. And have a great day, and we'll see you next time.